Yep, that makes more sense. Alright, let's create this guy. So we are going to use the Draugr template. Yep. The internet shall be slow out here. So let's see, Haugbui. Perfect. So let's see here. So its traits, it is corporeal. Don't think that's an option. Now there's incorporeal. That is alright. Definitely be a size medium. Yep, Draugr is just a challenge rating 2. So I don't think these things are going to be anything to write home about. Let's see. What traits can we get inspired by for these things? The Haugbui. Helgi the Haugbui. Helgi is killed, goes to Valhall. He's welcomed by Odin. Ooh. Hoodingsbang. Helgi Hoodingsbang. So this guy. This is a very badly written article. Founded the poetic Edda. He's a hero of poems, son of Sigmund and Borghild, half brother Sigurd, the Dragon Slayer. Okay. Helgi became known as Hundingsbane, Bane of Hunting, after avenging his father, killing King. Oh, he's a king! King Hunding of the Saxons. There's a poem here. No surprise that Helgi had an exciting life. Sure. After avenging his father. Okay, he was visited by a Valkyrie named Sigrun. Of course, Helgi fell for the Valkyrie. Classic. Dog barking. So, alright. Fell in love with a Valkyrie named Sigrun, and then nothing else came of that? Alright. Maybe it will. So Helgi's killed, goes to Valhall. Welcomed by Odin himself, leader among the Einherjar. So I guess Hunding became an Einherjar. Cool. So sends him to go tend to the pigs on the farm, because I guess Valhalla has a pig farm. Sometime after Helgi's death, one of Sigurd's servants was out in the evening and witnessed Helgi riding with several men to his burial mound. Okay. So he traveled to a burial mound. Sigurd went in there. Oh. Okay, they were going to spend the night in the burial mound, Helgi and Sigurd. And then Helgi just left. Cool. Sigurd died of sorrow. Okay, well this doesn't really help our case with the Haugbui. Ooh. Thorleif Joroskald. It was a benign Haugbui. Interesting. Exceptions to the Hogbar are mostly good. Mostly became violent to protect their families. That's an interesting twist. So we could make these guys neutral good. That is ridiculous. Or typically neutral good. Now we'll keep it simple. They're neutral good, but will defend others. So they're neutral good undead.
Haugbui.
Alright, well, is there anything else we can learn from these guys? The Hogbar. It's a mod for Skyrim. The Haugbui mod. We can just tie it to their burial mound. They pretty much Norse myth. I don't want to use Wikipedia. So I guess Draugr leave, Draugr can leave. But the Haugbui are confined. So I guess the Draugr and Skyrim are more like Haugbui. Because they're always confined to their tombs. Alright. So I guess we can give him similar traits to a zombie then. Zombie. So they can have some undead fortitude. Now, will I remember how to pronounce this name? Probably not. So we'll just copy this trait here, because it doesn't need to have the Updraganga's trait. Let's clear that there. 0 hit points. Consciously sting, and that's the damage is radiant. From a critical hit. Let's put that tooltip in there. Might be able to clean that. Reps to 1 hit point instead. Okay. Certainly don't want this to be just this random zombie clone. So let's see what else we can find. Guardians of Treasure, they attack Transpassers. Okay. More common in Norwegian sagas. Okay. Let's see, Haugbui lore. Okay. So they're guardians. So let's see if we can incorporate a guardian. Let's see. Just put that in place for now. I do technically have a guardian-esque trait already. Go to my notes here. Let's see, which one do we want to do? Because it's pretty brutal. I could limit it to when they're near their treasure, within radius. Yeah, they fight. The closer you get, the more fiercely they protect their grave goods. Sure, that works. So let me just grab the template for that. Okay. Because this is the general guardian trait I made here. Certain attacks against the monster can't have advantage, can't gain advantage. But if a creature would have advantage and disadvantage in such an attack roll, they cancel each other out as normal. Like if he's restrained, you technically can't get advantage. But if you had disadvantage for some other reason, like you were blinded, and you had advantage because he was restrained, you don't have disadvantage. You would just attack as normal. So, Guardian. Well, within... Brad. Can you limit it? Well... I'll play with the radius. Let's say 30 feet. Treasure. Just call it grave goods. Yeah, treasure's easy enough. Let's see. What do you want? All attacks? Or just ranged or melee? I'll say melee attack rolls. Nope, that's not gonna work. Melee attack rolls against this Haugbui can't get advantage. I usually like to just underline it. It's easy to read. Beginner with advantage and disadvantage on such an attack roll against each other as normal. Okay. Pretty nasty. So I think I'll just leave the traits at that. Let's see what else. Alright, what else can we learn about these guys? Alright. Well, we'll leave the traits for now. Let's see what kind of attack we can get from them. Because you could just do a generic slam attack again, or you could have... It sounded like in the Sagas attack from behind, just like a dunk. Could be interpreted that way. So we'll have another slam from them, but their stance won't be quite as high. We'll just give them basic... We'll give them a +4 to hit. That seems fair enough for these guys. The Optigon goes much stronger. So... Let's see, we kinda... I think zombies just do a d6, if I remember correctly. One d8. So let's give them a d10, so their average would be 7 damage. Bludgeoning damage, just that. Alright, what else can we... Okay, we can beef them up a bit. Oops. Poison. Immunity. Poison immunity, of course. Because he's undead. Just don't need necrotic resistance this time. Let's see, resistance. Why not? So it could be magical or non-magical in that case. Cold iron. Because according to whatever this side is, iron is often effective weapons against them. Let's check the source. Looks like it's a fandom site, so some of this may not all be true. Reading. Okay. To permanently defeat blah blah blah. Specific actions. Again, this is probably not. It's probably from all these fandom, Wikipedia and fandom sites. So take all this with a grain of salt, but it's still fun. Burned. Yep. Should disperse the ashes. Cool. I could change the undead fortitude a little bit. So, unless oops, come on. 0 hit points. The Haugbui. Yeah, that kind of covers that as well. Because they have a trait apparently here where you got to burn them, but you also got to cut off their head first. But we'll just keep things simple. With Undead Fortitude, kind of covers the bases for that. Nice. What else do we got here? Some use magics, so shape-shifting. I didn't see that in any of the sangas, so I don't think that's necessarily true. I'll also do more reading. So we can give it a spell, just a basic necrotic bolt kind of spell, I would say. Maybe there is undead runic magic. Yeah, let's take a look into that thought experiment. Because they have Trollskap. They say used evil magic to protect their mounds, but I don't think that's necessary if we're going for neutral good undead. So they would naturally use necrotic just because of their nature. So you could just do necrotic bolts, I guess. Let's see. Let's look at the monster manual here. Creature type. Undead. I think whites. Ah, we could change things up a little bit and do this. So just bludgeoning damage. Take inspiration from the white. And just change the damage. I cannot spell necrotic. Necrotic. Change it to necrotic damage, which I like to color a nice green. So it's necrotic slam. If they did use magic, let's see. Death Knight won't have a necrotic bolt. Don't mind me. So we already have something that does necrotic damage. Doesn't really have ranged, not really ranged attack. Oops. Maybe I could change. Maybe I could actually just be more useful and share my other screen. There's my Lord stuff there. I could link it. Yeah. I'm actually reading. Perfect. So I don't need to really good at spells, but a spell-like ability. Just a very basic one. Like just like Necrotic Bolt or something like that. I think that'd be fine. So just basically I'll copy the mage. I think they have Arcane Bolt, and I'll just change that damage type to Force. Yeah, doesn't need to be anything ridiculous. So Necrotic Burst. Necrotic Bolt. Melee ranged attack roll. Yeah. Wouldn't bode too well unless it uses its Constitution. Oops. Damn it, keep doing that. Let's use its Constitution to somehow. Let's go back here. Dead zombie. If you're using zombie as a base, it has terrible stats. Would technically use wisdom, I guess. So, wisdom. But man. And we'll just meet in the middle there. Hoptagon has a little bit more mobility to it than these guys. And not very smart. We'll just keep things very similar. So yeah, would not be able to cast spells very well. So maybe it'd just be a plus -1 +1. So +1 to hit is horrendous as heck. but that's okay. It's a weak creature. Necrotic bolt. Melee ranged attack roll. Necrotic. So to make up for the weak to hit, we can give it a little bit more damage. So we can give it 2d6, 7, but it'd be -1. Actually, gotta clear the formatting there for a sec. So if you do 2d8 -1, which will be 8. So minimum 1 damage. 8 necrotic damage, which is still on par with its slam in terms of damage. 4 by 6, 7, 8. -1 is 7, plus the 2 halves is 8. So I think that's okay. Add some stat rollable for the maps page there. I'll just end the poll. Cool. Nice and basic there. Now let's see what else can we learn here. Okay. Dew of Death. That's cool. Dew of Death. So maybe a mix of necrotic and cold damage. So maybe I'll just do 1d8 -1, so it's going to be quite low. Minimum 0 damage. Feels bad. So minimum of 6. Don't know. Because if I do 2d4, average of 5. -1 is 4. And then plus there. With the Dew of Death permeating this undead, again, it's gonna deal on average 4, 5, 6, 7, which is the same as necrotic slam. I'm just gonna call this, because it's funny and I like alliteration, barrel bolt. Necrotic slam and barrel bolt. Melee range attack roll, only +1. But when I should fix this. Does a little bit, can potentially do a bit more damage, but I like the minimum of 1 damage rather than 0. So minimum of 1 damage. And for the necrotic, and then minimum of 1 damage for cold. So minimum 2 damage from that. And the minimum damage from that is 3. There's no spoilers here. Why'd I do that? No. Actually, you know what? Hit the undo button. Perfect. So what we're going to do now, where is it? I'm going to lose all that, give it a quick save. There we go. Barrel bolt and necrotic slam. No. One of these things. Oh, I didn't switch over. That's annoying. Switch back now just so you can see the barrel bolt and the necrotic slam. Don't think I want that reaction though. Maybe I can just... Yeah. Still figuring out layout because I think keeps things nice and sequestered there. Perfect. Now you can actually read that. Perfect. Undead Fortitude. Barrel Guardian, well within 30 feet of their treasure. It's treasure, I guess. Because it's the singular. Now, if we go back over to... see, what was it? Motivation. Bound to the grave. It's okay. Switch that back over there. So they look up here, it says Haugbui. It's let's see what we got here. There we go. Alright, that works. Breaking into a cairn. So yeah, grave robbing, I guess. Alright, that works. Source for this is... one of these here. Vikinger. Alright. So we can probably do something with that. Haganga. Oh yeah, Ganga. Up the Ganga. Again walker, mound walking. Cool connections. So Haugbui. That could just be a lore point though. We don't necessarily need to formulate a reaction from that. That would be hilarious. If it could do something. Like when you take a piece of its treasure. Because there's many of them that could dash in, grab something, dash out. No one knows what that means. Grave goods. We'll just call it this for now. Grandson of the Grave. Trigger. A creature removes a piece of treasure from the Haugbui's burial mound worth 1 plus gold piece. Response. Trigger. A creature removes a piece of treasure from the Haugbui's burial mound that is worth at least 1 gold piece. Response. The Haugbui moves up to its speed, then makes a necrotic slam or a barrel bolt attack against the triggering creature. harken back to what they look like in the stat block by labeling them the same way. Yeah, still don't know what to call that, but we can rename it later if I think of something else. It moves up to its speed. Comma. Then makes a necrotic bolt against a trigger creature. Cool. Now it won't have a very far movement speed. I think that's later on. Yeah, let's see here. The zombie has 15 hit points. That's 0.25. Is there anything CR1 here? Because they changed the way they calculated hit points, because everything got a boost. So, the shadow, for reference, is CR half and has 27 hit points. So I guess 30 average hit points for the Draugr was a bit low, but it could carry on for a while. Because when you kill it, unless it wasn't fire or radiant or a critical hit, it will still walk around until it takes that damage. So 30 hit points is not unreasonable for CR1. 369. So 4.5. So 4 times 4, 16, 18. Plus 10 is 28. Plus 2 from 12 is 30. So it could theoretically have the same amount of hit points. Could also have a bit less. Could have a bit more. So let's give it a bit more hit points. So that means, guys, 15. Oops, not 115, just 15. So 30 plus 15 is 45. Nope, not 45, plus 5. So it's going to have like 39 hit points on average. I think so, unless we round down to 38. But yeah, that should be good where it is there. Yeah, that makes sense. I was adding 5 instead of 3 because I am silly. So 37 hit points. Habitats, just urban. I'm going to put hill because burger ones are hill, but they're man-made as well. Urban. That's pretty much it for these guys. The Draugr had a base armor class of 12. Zombie, I think, has 9 armor class? 8? Terrible. Well, if we're just going to calculate it based off his stats, it's -2. Also have an armor class of 8. But they're a bit tougher. So we'll average it out, added strength to that. Because they were not supernaturally strong. So armor class of 10. This thing would have some treasure. No doubt some weapons. Visual implements. Ugh. Save that. I'm gonna take a look here. Haugbui. Too similar. I've never seen anything named that. I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah. Weird. Completely strange. It seems actually. And if we really wanted to make it more exciting, we can increase its CR and give it some more abilities. But I think it's okay as its own. I don't know about the name though. I've never seen Haugbui as an official licensed content name. That's hilarious. We'll have to change that description in the lore, although it would be very similar. That's pretty much it. Very simple. Bound to the grave. Undead creature. With a little bit of unique stuff going on with its damage resistances. And it's a little bit of magic. And its Bureau Guardian trait makes it a little bit more difficult to hit. So, yeah. The Haugbui. We'll see how it can implement that in future campaigns. For now, let's, I guess, take a break here. Go. Alright. So, maybe I'll just move myself over here. Read left to right. Don't need to see me left to right. So, I think that's pretty much done for this creature. Gave it a nice little attack. Has some cool traits. I'll work on the lore later. Yeah. I think we're pretty good there. Alright. So, what else shall we make today? Let's see what other undead the Norse. I think that's pretty much it though. There's just Draugr. Like the category of Draugr. Right. Let's try. Let's continue trying AI mode. See if we can check the sources it gathers. Let's see. Improper burial, unclean death, sure. Ooh, an infected. Blue somehow, yeah. Blue is hell. Hell being the afterlife, hellheim. Superhuman size. What? Maybe. Yep, Guardian Triangle, Vengeful Haunting. I like the idea of like a plague, like someone who died of the plague and they're now coming back as a Draugr. That sounds cool. Very fitting for the Halo's Heart campaign as well. So what we're going to do, the last little bit here, is we are going to create another monster. Slowly. Because of the internet. We're going to use the Draugr as the template here. Might have to come up with a cool name for this, but plague, just the plagued Draugr. For now. Plague Draugr for now. Let's see, CR probably be a bit higher. So let's bump this up to a CR3. We could grab the Undead Fortitude trait here. Change it up just a little bit here. The damage reduces the Draugr to 0 hit points. It makes conversations things with the Draugr to hit points instead, and releases a quad in a 10-foot itself. So it drops to 1 hit point instead and releases a cloud of poison and a 10-foot emanation originating from itself. Let's see, it would probably come from its constitution. So 8, 13, DC 13, con save. Each creature in that area. Failure has the poisoned condition till the end of its next turn. So, there we go. The Undead Fortitude. So, let's say, plagued. Let's see, power of plank. For now. Because it's technically a fortitude ability, but enhanced, so I'll have to see about fixing that. But we'll keep some traits that the Draugr has, so. Because that comes from its strength. Charisma, I guess. 8, 9, 10, 12. Keep that, that's the same. So I think we'll take inspiration here from the not Revenant. What's it called? White. Because they got necrotic sword and necrotic bow. And I think we can just make that poison. Plague sword and plague bow in any combination. Yeah. You can cast a spell too. Plague sword or plague bow. Cool. Just gonna change this to poison. So do it like this. Is it gonna do it? It is. Nice. I just realized I took away one of its cool things. Let's see here. To add it back because it uses its strength, both ranged and melee attacks, which is unique to these Draugr. Strength of the dead. So let's add that back. Oh, it's bloodied. So let's fix that here. Rules in this case. Rules. And I use its strength for ranged weapon attacks. Just make things as readable as possible. So that way, let's take a look at its attacks here. Be a +5. So 5 to hit. Because we're looking at the strength of the dead. Keep it at 16. +3. So these guys do a little bit more damage than fights. Alright. 3, plus 3. So slashing damage. Yeah, poison looks nice and sickly. Poison damage, piercing damage. See, much easier to read. See, I was even struggling trying to go through the wall text to find the word slashing. So, save DC still in the 12, still uses charisma. We could boost that up a bit to save DC 13. So let's do that. The force of will is strong with the power of undeath. And the entity Noborin or Apocalypse. The spirit of plague and disease, the deity of plague and disease in Ambrio's lore, known in Elvish as Noldorin. Can still cast similar spells, but let's change this. Because this is now poison spray is now a ranged attack, which is cool. Grave Sickness is already there. Yeah, that'll probably be the only new one. We'll keep things a little balanced. Plus one attack with the casting of a cantrip. That means the DC is going to be a bit higher for its gaze. Wrathful Gaze, Power of Plague. I'm just going to say, I don't know what you call it. Yeah, Undead Fortitude. Do we want to do poison? Because some of the spells do poison. I think we won't do poisoned goops condition, but we will do second condition from Ghostfire Gaming. Second condition. Second. You have disadvantage on Constitution saving throws. Amazing. I like to color code everything. Makes things super easy to find at a quick glance in a stat block. Which is really nice. Perfect. Second, you have disadvantage on Constitution saving throws. Cool. So that's pretty much that guy. These guys are gonna have very similar lore, so we'll have to tie that into Lawful evil. These guys would probably just be more chaotic evil. Driven by a plague and disease and that kind of stuff. I could summon rats and stuff. Yeah, sure. Summon rat. 3. Oops. My number lock was off. 3 per day. I have precedence for this ability here. So this will make things a little bit easier. What creature had the precedence? Oh! I think I remember. Maybe I don't. Okay. There we go. The Draugr summons a rat. The rat takes its turn directly after the Draugr. On each of the Draugr's turns, it can take a bonus action to. Oops. Oh, son of a. You can take a bonus action issue the flame to any rat under its control within 120 feet. The Draugr decides one of the following. The Draugr decides one. Oh, jeez. Decides one of the following actions. The rat will take. Let's get that set up. How many actions did I include? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 actions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Attack. Search. dash. Disengage. I think I will change that one over here too. If no issues are commanded. Issue grants issued. The rat takes the dodge action. Sure, there's one more action I can choose instead. That would make sense, sort of. You know what? If there's multiple rats, you can give the help action. Because that would be ridiculous. Yeah. That works. The rat. You can take a bonus action as you want to fly commands to any rat under its control within 120 feet. The Draugr decides one of the following actions the rat will take: attack, search, dash, disengage, or help. If no attacks commands are issued, the rat takes the dodge action. The rat moves and takes the chosen action on its next turn, then its turn ends. Perfect. Little minion. Because the way it has drain life, if you die, you come back as a zombie. So this guy's minions are little rats. Plague-ridden rats. You could even reflavor them as undead rats, if you really wanted to. I think I'll also update to make it a little bit more readable again. Just change the color. Yeah. Tick. Cool. That should suffice. Taking its time, taking its chances. I should change the AC stuff as well. There we go. Name under construction. Tentatively named plague. Draugr with a tentatively named infected undead fortitude. We got some cool abilities here that we haven't seen Draugr yet, but spoiler alert for some of its abilities. But that's alright. And fortitude, of course, if it survives on that, it drops to 1 hit point instead, releases a cloud of poison. So it's pretty nasty. It has a sickening condition if you fail to save. There's nothing if you succeed, because if you succeed, nothing happens. So it uses strength score increases by 2 when it is bloodied. Which I should double check the calculations and have them in the stat block in terms of what happens when it's bloodied, because it will be a +6 to hit. +6 to hit. with some extra damage there. But super basic attacks. Its main thing is the rat. I don't know why the format is like that. I think I know why, but I'll have to double check. But yeah, commands and summons a rat under its control. With its wrathful gaze. Wisdom saving throw. Any creature who makes an attack roll against a Draugr who doesn't have the binding condition. So if you can see it, you attack it, you have to make a wisdom save. And if you fail, you have the frightened condition for 1 minute, and you can save at the end of your turn. Have fun with that. But I think we will end there, because I want to go eat some food. So, those who will watch later, those who are here, thanks for watching, and catch you next time. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the first stream of Homebrewed Alchemy, where we took a look at some Norse-themed undead and bring them into the world of Ambriel. Hope to see them on the battlefield in the near future. Have a good rest of your weekend and rest of your week.